We were doing a lesson last week and the golfer was struggling to make a change. And we were working on something in his backswing and he just couldn't quite get it. What we gave him to do is probably going to be, well, we know it helped him, but it's probably going to be good for you to do as well, provided you qualify for certain key parameters. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Also, if you want more free training, click on the link in the first pinned comment below this video. We gave him a pause.
Yeah.
And he was just going too fast into the corner and coming out reckless.
Yeah, he was a perfect candidate because he was slow takeaway, fast in the second half of the backswing.
Yep.
And then it was going so fast he had to grab that, otherwise it would almost bounce off his shoulder. So he grabbed it quick out of the top. So he was missing that where the club kind of comes to that nice, smooth transition and unwinding the body and letting the club come down. Right.
What we were working on was the middle part of his swing, which is left arm parallel, the backswing, the lead arm parallel, the downswing. And, you know, he got it, he could walk himself through it, but as soon as there was a ball down there in front of him, it was slow and to try to hit the ball. And we see this all the time in lessons. If you've ever driven a fast car into a hairpin corner, you want to go slow into the corner, fast out of the corner. He was going into the corner and taking his car all over the track because it never came out the same.
In a way, if you want to be smoother at the top, you have to be a little quicker down here. Now, there's outliers to that, and you know we all know there is. But the feeling for most golfers, if they're not quite so deliberate here, they can get a little more motion going in this first part of the swing. It's a lot easier to let that momentum die, so it comes to that nice smooth stop, or not really a stop, nice smooth transition, I would say, where the club is solid up there when you look at it from face on or down the line, and it's not bouncing around. You know, the more you can get it to be kind of quiet in transition and it's not moving a whole lot and bouncing, the more consistent you can be, because it's hard to bounce it the same way every time.
You touched on something there, like probably already had the comments. Morikawa, Sung JM, right? There's a difference in a slow backswing. What we see those guys do is super smooth off the ball, smooth into the top, smooth out, and then apply the speed. What we see regular golfers doing is thinking about 4 different things, and then when those things are done in the takeaway, then it's hurry up and make the backswing. Completely different animal.
Yeah, it's a very different animal, and you know, the faster you go in the second half of the backswing, the harder it is to make a sequence transition.
Right, so we had the golfer, and this is what you should be trying at home, is to give a 2 count at the top. And it's going to feel like a half an hour up there, but it's really going to exaggerate how you're applying that speed going into the top.
Yeah, and you may have to exaggerate the feel a little bit at first, but the other analogy that I've used with people, if you're driving down the road at 50 miles an hour, you don't just slam the car in reverse.
Hopefully not.
Apply the brakes, come to a smooth stop, and then you can put it in reverse. So it's the same principle here. So if you swing it up there and thought 1, 2, zoom, hit, when that 1, 2 is happening, you know, it's not like I'm freezing. My lower body is getting out of the gate a little bit while this is kind of floating to an end here or coming kind of to a stop. And then it changes direction as I unwind the body.
We want the count or the 1, 2 to be in the club head. The body's still moving. And we don't want, when we hear pause, that means a lot of things, a lot of different golfers. It doesn't mean everything stops 1, 2, and then try to put on the brakes, because that's going to ruin your sequencing. It's the club head is pausing, feeling like a pause, and then the body is still doing its thing. It just allows you to sequence better.
Exactly right.
Let's do a demonstration of that. We'll use a foam ball at first. And I want golfers to understand that if you're going to feel like you have a pause at the top of a 1, 2 count, it's probably not going to look like to the camera. People don't like a pause because it inhibits that hit impulse, that like we all want to hit it, but this is exactly why you should be doing it.
You got to wait for it a little bit to let things kind of develop on the downswing. And we're going to use this drill I'm about to do with a foam ball, and you can buy these on our store. We found some that are a little bit squishy enough not to hurt anything, but they still feel like you're hitting something.
Yeah, and anytime we use anything in our videos, we've always get a lot of questions of where can I get that? So rather than us just posting links to whoever knows,
yeah, we have them in the store.
We just put them in a store, and you guys can get them there if you want.
All right, so here's the drill.
Yes.
We're going to add a little bit of momentum in this first part of the swing. You probably, if you've watched our channel for any amount of time, we've used this drill before. But man, it's such a catch-all drill. It's like the open hand drills. Like you can't do it enough.
Right.
So this one here, take your normal setup, swing the club head to about 5 o'clock. If this is 6, 5, 4, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, right? Something like that.
I have a digital watch for a reason.
Something like that. You're going to swing the head forward. You're going to lift the heel slightly here on your trail foot, heel down, swing the club head back. So almost like I'm going to hit a backward shot. Now I was going to knock this foam ball into that TrackMan sitting there over that way. So, but I'm not going to hit the ball. I'm going to swing past the ball, swing it up, let it die, and then hit. And what you're going to find if you've been guilty of making a slow, deliberate takeaway, this is going to feel kind of speedy in this section. So I'm going to do it here once. I'll just chip one easy. So heel up, heel down, swing, die, swing.
Right.
So it's swing, die, and when I say die, it just means the momentum of the club's coming out. And then when I start the lower by, the club starts to come with me.
Okay. Now what we'll do, like that, we'll call that level 1 in this drill. What we'll need to do in a lessons a lot of times is I want to have Shaun, I'll have the golfer count that out loud as he's doing it. So forward, sweep it away, 1, 2, and then go. If you can put a kind of a real-time counter on this movement, it's going to force you to do it. Because when we don't do that, we see golfers go back, 1, 2, and they're already at the ball by the 2 comes out. So that's not what this is. You're not changing anything at that point.
No.
So let's have you do it one more time. Give us that count at the top before the club comes down.
So yeah, and like Mike said, it's the club head that we're kind of waiting on.
Right. So his body's not going to stop and freeze and pause.
I'll count it out loud. So swing, 1, 2.
Yes.
And that's a long time, but sometimes you have to feel that.
That's exactly right.
And again, sometimes you got to bend the spring farther than you want to go, so it'll snap back somewhere where you do want it to go. And that's what this drill feels
Record yourself doing this, right? If you struggle with transition, if you struggle with sequencing, this will force you to do both well. Or it's not easy to hit a good shot doing that, but you'll hit horrible shots doing this if your sequencing is way off.
Yeah, that's why we like the foam balls. Work on the motion. As long as you're hitting at something, we really highly recommend when you're doing drills, make sure there's a ball there. The air swings a lot of times, we'll talk about this in other videos, you don't have the burden of closing the face on the ball. Practice with something there. Foam ball is great because you're still having to hit something and you get that the hitting impulse here, which you have to square the club face.
Right. I mean, if I'm in a hotel room, whatever, I'll just use a roll-up sock. Just something that's a target down there that I have to square the face to. So give that a try. Film yourself so you can calibrate what you're actually doing with what it feels like you're doing. And then you'll constantly be calibrating those feels as you keep learning.